Most esteemed Baron, Captain Kevin Harstem de Koning. Welcome to the Great King Lurker's coronation ceremony. I am a humble Protoss follower of the Great King Lurker, have 38 MMR in the Korean server and 4200 in the late Chinese server. May it rest in peace. In this game I had a not bad early game and a perfect mid game. I scouted my opponent's Hydra Baneling all in and dealt with it flawlessly. I eliminated my opponent's Hydras and Banelings without casualties, so I had a huge advantage in the middle game. My oracles were well preserved, I had good map control, a powerful high-tech army including Colossus and Disruptor, a healthy economy, fast upgrades. My opponent's economy got hit pretty bad by my Zealot run by 5 to 4 bases and 80 to 60 workers. Not quite sure what that means, but I'm sure we'll get to it. And I had 3 Robo to produce Colossus and Disruptor, 2 Stargate to produce Carrier. But all of this was destined to burn daylight, because the King Lurker backed. The King, he's just like Invisible Tank, running speed higher than Phoenix, reproducing faster than Virus. The King landed my base, then my strong army immediately disappeared, just like tears in rain. It was then that I realized that Protoss could not challenge the authority of the King Lurker. GG. Alas, my esteemed Baron Harstem, do you think as I do that the Great King Lurker will reign over this Koprulu sector, or just at least in this game? It was, I suck. Please, make the most judgment. A Morphism sent me this balance complaint from a true poet. The strong army disappeared like tears in rain, so if StarCraft isn't his thing, then perhaps poetry is the future. Asking me if the Great King Lurker, or the Lurker, is imbalanced, or if he sucks. Let's find out. Alright, there we go. A Morphism versus Frozen. And this is not going to be anything like the Disney movie, at least. Can't imagine it being anything like the Disney movie. Can't remember Lurkers being in the Disney movie. How sick would that be, though? Imagine you have your Disney movie, your Lion King, your Aladdin. This is Disney as well. Frozen is Disney. And then all of a sudden, you know, just when everything comes together, a Lurker shows up, kills the protagonist. God. Imagine explaining that one to your kid. What happened to Elsa? What is that beast from underground? Adios, my friend. Splash damage as well. Takes out the Prince Charming or whoever else is. There's no Prince Charming, I think, in Frozen. I think the prince actually was a bad person. I remember watching it. When I went to WCS in 2015, there was this player called Hydra who was winning a lot. And he was like, hey, we're gonna watch a movie with some of the players here. Do you want to join? I was like, yeah, sure, sounds good. But then we watched Frozen because I'd never seen it before. Yeah, surprisingly decent movie. 6-7 pro gamers watching Frozen. Time of my life. Anyway, that's not what we're here for, sharing old anecdotes. What we're here for is a game of StarCraft 2. And that is starting out... not so great. Stargate timing. 41 gas in the bank. Probe queued up, and because that probe was queued up, not enough money to start the Stargate. And thus the Stargate, for no reason whatsoever, is about 7 to 8 seconds too late, which is kind of a lot if you're in the early game. 3800 MMR on Korea. I feel like I expected a little bit more at least. So yeah, fairly disappointing for a start. Now, we have a couple of links coming over right now as they're gonna chase away this probe. So the scout is okay. Didn't actually see the third base either. As the adept takes the other side. Ooh, might get a kill on one of these links. These links are completely out of position, or even better, might go in and kill a couple of drones here. Have to wait and see how that's going to end up panning out. This is a wall, and it's a correct wall. Love to see that. I'm a big fan of people that are below 5k MMR producing, you know, correct walls. That's the content that I subscribe to. You know, I could watch diamond players make beautiful walls all day if I wanted to. Just makes me happy when a wall comes together in the end. You know, build the final building and boom, just like that, it's done. Oracle on the way, so fairly standard openers here for both players. Third player, well, decided to not throw down any creep tumors. Creep is overrated. Perhaps handicapping himself a little bit. Ooh. Links around. I wonder if the Urubu could be like a body blocker, you know? Put the Urubu in front of your adept. You always just hug it so the links can get a proper surround. Don't think that would work. Ooh, that's a fast Roach Warren. Wonder what that's going to be for. It's a late third base. Wonder why that is. I think I know the answer though. It's probably because you forgot to send out the probe. That's a dead adept. That's another dead adept. We do get the Nexus up. Nah, not that great of a trade. Oracle also idling completely. Second Oracle's on the way. This Stalker should survive. No, it shouldn't. It dies. Wow. This actually is kind of a big deal. There's a lot of units lost here for a Morphism. It's going to send in this Oracle, but double queens are in position. So it's just going to take some hull damage. Scout and see, hey, well, I can actually deal damage there. Takes out one drone, takes even more damage. Tried flying into 2 more queens. Not a great start. Killed 2 workers, lost 1, but lost a bunch of units as well. The only thing that I find a bit bad for the Zerg is that he built 14 more links. If that wasn't the case, Zerg would be ahead in workers right now. A fairly good position as the tech is super late for no real reason whatsoever. It's a fairly confusing game at the moment. Another surround. This is turning into a Stalker Adept graveyard over here. I still don't like these 14 links being produced. They're paying off, but they shouldn't have. So I think it, like, theoretically this was a bad call. StarCraft isn't really a pure theory game, but theoretically this was a bad call, so I didn't like it. I do like these 8 extra drones being produced. Extractor on the way. We have no lair yet. Oh no, we do have a lair. No fort base. Now we get a Hydra then and a Baneling Nest at the same time, and that fast Roach Warren doesn't get used at all. It's a confusing early game here, in general. I'm not even quite sure who's ahead. It should be the Zerg, but doesn't quite seem to be the case. Triple Oracles also haven't really achieved all that much. They killed as many workers as the 20 links that have been built have, so not quite ideal. Massive oversaturation as well. Now, what did he mention again he played? He played some... It denied the Hydra link Bane all-in is what he said. So that's a scout on the Hydra link Bane all-in. It's fairly obvious as well. It's like no gases here, no fort base. You're like, well, what is going on? Surely units are being built. So you add some gateways, you add 2 cannons. 3 cannons? I think 3 cannons is pushing it a little bit. Like, you're not outmining your opponent by that much. That's not what are these positions. It's like you're not really ready for anything. They come from the right side. Yeah, I guess you have kind of 2 cannons. You come from here. You have like half a cannon. This is a weird SimCity in general. Like, this cannon isn't protected. This cannon isn't protected. This is also an open area. This is like the opposite of walling. This is just building structures almost adjacent to each other. Look at this. None of this is connected. This is insane. I know there's a fight going on here. This base is going to get cancelled. An idiot can see that coming. Look at this. This is a hole. There's a hole in between this. There's a hole here and there's a hole here. There's more entrances to this base right now than there was before he started walling it off. This is an impressive feat as well. No cancel. Triple upgrades for the Zerg. This is an odd Hydra link Bane all-in as well. Still no gases being taken. Another cannon got added. And more pylons. Okay, so a little bit of theory here is that usually as a Protoss player, you want to defend the buildings that either deal damage or that have low HP behind gateways. So gateways in front, pylons behind it. Gateways in front, cannons behind it. Gateways in front, batteries behind it. Right now we're seeing cannons and pylons in front at the freaking exact same pixel as well over here. Why is this the only thing that is completely walling? And then between the pylon and the gateway and these 2 gateways, there's space for banelings to run by. I don't quite understand that. Seems like a mistake. It also seems like a mistake to not take gases here and to invest freaking infinite minerals into these cannons. Like, you're making more money than your opponent, but if you're allocating it this poorly into this many cannons, it doesn't actually matter if you make that much. This is as if you make 5k a month, your neighbor makes 3k a month, but you spend $3,600 on candles. It's like, yeah, your neighbor's probably going to be driving a better car after that, or a nicer car, and there's really not that much that you can say about it. You just wasted a crap ton of cash, and it's the same in this game. Nice map vision as well. Wait a second. Wait a second. I had good map control. Now, when you say map control, that often means that you're in control of the map and that you can see things coming. If you're in control of the map, you can, for example, have a zealot here, and a zealot over here without them being contested. So you get vision from it. Map control is just having control of the map and being able to maintain that vision and being allowed to move out on the map. Having map control isn't being in your opponent's face. If you're all-inning your opponent, you do not necessarily have map control. That's not the same thing. Right now, what you're doing is you're practically all-inning your opponent, despite you being all-inned by an army that is running by you at the moment. This is not map control. This is having an army on the opponent's side of the map. And that is very different from map control. And I think you got your definitions mixed up, or you truly believe that you were in control. But then how did this happen? You got really lucky with the stasis, and you also got lucky that your opponent's army was terrible. If your opponent had played a real build, you would have died. Facts. Actual facts. Triple Oracle still alive, so that was true. You're also just, honestly, ahead at this point. I find it difficult to imagine a world in which you lose or die. Well, dying is impossible because you have, right now, 6 cannons. We just keep adding more and more cannons. This cannon has 5 kills. None of these other cannons have any kills though, so it's a nice efficiency on there. Good return of investment. Now you're building a Colossus one at a time, as well as a Templar Archive, so that's some foresight. I want to see those force fields again. Okay, right-clicking the hatchery. Losing some stalkers. Nice counterattack. Not force-fielding this ramp. Then pretending like it is force-fielded. And just right-clicking the base anyway. That is a very cool move. That is actually a very, very cool move. I sometimes do that as well. With my girlfriend. When I'm the one in charge of doing the dishes. Or with my wife. When I'm the one in charge of doing the dishes. And then I didn't do it. And then I pretend like I did do it. Usually it doesn't end as well for me as it ended up here for Amorphism. When he faked the force fields and then just right-click the hatchery anyway. High tier. Couple of Blink Stalkers. And this is still completely over this game. It's actually impossible to lose. You have the ultimate counter right now. The Colossus against the Hydra Ling. The only thing... Interesting blink forward, but doesn't matter. There's so many units, it literally doesn't matter. I actually believe this game to be impossible to lose. Fort base is late, and once again we have... How can someone build such a beautiful wall in the natural? And then whenever it comes to... What is this? The Swiss are jealous. Because you managed to put so many holes in it. What is this? It's like... There's literally holes everywhere. Good lord. Alright, you're still on the map though, and you're winning. Now, I do have to warn you, is that Colossi are a trick. Okay? The Colossus is a tech unit that gets outdated pretty quickly. It is a little bit like how the DVD was. You know, you had VCR, then there was like 3 years of DVD, and then Blu-ray came out. If during that time you started like a pure DVD shop and you stayed with DVD forever, you'd probably be bankrupt at this point. That's kind of what the Colossus is. The Colossus is a transitional device, like the DVD was, you know? Most people got a PlayStation 3, DVDs were over. It's time to get Blu-rays, my friends. And it's the same with Colossus. You get them for a little bit. I feel like you've had them slightly long already at this point. You need to move on in life. Get into Disruptors, get into Templar Archives. I like that a lot. Wouldn't mind seeing Storm. Wouldn't mind seeing a 5th base either here at this point, as well as a prism. I'm a huge fan of this zealot, like little setup over here. So you attack into this area and you send your zealots in. Now this would work better if your opponent didn't have lurkers borrowed. It also would work better if you looked at where you send them in, but I can blame you for this. I do this a lot as well. Just send in 6 zealot, hope they do something. If they don't, that's life. Oh, this is a good move too. Got lucky there that there was no target fire on the observer. Never mind. Observer gets taken out anyway. Some units randomly die on the left. This is still all completely fine. I still truly believe that this game is unlosable. There's no creep. There is 7 lurkers without seismic spines, and there's 2 vipers out. The only way I can imagine you losing right now is getting every single major unit abducted. And there's a simple fix for this. The Templar Archives. Warp in a couple of Templar. Make sure that your units don't get abducted. And you probably win the game the moment you manage to tech into Stargates. Now, the thing with a 4-base Zerk is that he's on 8 gases. Lurkers, Vipers and Hydras all cost a crap ton of gas. So out of 8 gases, yes, you can build Lurker, Hydra, Viper. But you're not going to be capable of maxing out easily. Look at that. Gas count low, mineral count high. The thing that you can't get is Corruptors. It is really difficult, practically impossible, to get Lurker, Hydra, Viper, Corruptor out of 8 gases. So if you ever manage to tech into Stargates, Corruptors will not be out. Which means if you play Carrier Templar and you clear the Vipers ahead of time, you win. This is the reason why Lurkers are relatively bad. It's because they are like a DVD, but have even a shorter time in which they're relevant. They're actually kind of like a Colossus in that way. They just don't remain relevant for that long. This is a good fight again by you, by the way. Zealots being sent in. This is way better, as long as you don't A-move them into a spore. Yeah, 2 of them do that. The rest just idles over here. Okay, if you're gonna idle over here, I probably would have preferred A-moving into the spore. I take back what I said about the spore. No, never mind. You're controlling them. Okay, I love this. I absolutely love this. 5th base on the way once again. Sim City that, well... What is this walling off? The cannons are still completely attacked. Like, just build the 2 cannons in here, another gateway in front. Boom, you have a wall. Or just 1 gate here, cannon, cannon. Something like this. What is this? It's like you learned how to wall by looking at box art. It's like, what's wrong with you? Holy crap. Zealot run by is good though. Okay, yeah, it was 80 workers to 60, 5 base versus 4. I think I understood the imbalance complaint form correctly. Going into Storm now, finally. Would love to see some Templars being warped in as well, because Storm by itself doesn't do a whole lot if you don't have a Templar that can cast it. And the most important thing isn't really Storm, because you have Disruptors for splash against the Hydras. I think the most important thing really here is just the feedback on the Vipers, because that way your carriers can stay alive. If your carriers stay alive, you win the game. There's nothing that can contest the carrier. There's simply cannot have enough Hydras for that. It's impossible. Probably do want to get rid of the Stalkers, as you're really getting stuck into a crap army at this point, and you want to make sure your opponent never manages to walk across the map. 13 gateways, which means that base trading is fairly easy at this point. You have extremely good production. The setup is perfect, except for your SimCity. But the setup is perfect. You also have... Well, do you really have map control? I'm not sure if I'd consider this map control, but you have some vision on the map with stasis wards. Vipers moving in. Oh, yeah, stasis are good. Oracles are being blasted at a high pace. Look at that. Oh my god. Cannon's got a kill. Nice. Viper gets taken out. Hydra Lurker moving forward. Stasis wards have really paid dividends in this game so far. What's the resource lost? 14k to 10k. Look at this. Bam, 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 bam. Poof. Oh, both of them died. Unfortunate. Poof. Killed 2 lurkers. Okay. No feedback. Still no feedback. It's an interesting dance here in the lurker spikes. This is the first fight I wasn't so happy with. Both of the disruptor shots missing as well there. But I guess in some way it freed up a little bit of supply here to create more carriers. There is triple Stargate, so I'm sad to only see 2 working. Zealot run by gets used at the same time. It's actually keeping your opponent back as well. I guess this is the point where you're most vulnerable. This is the only point at which you can lose, okay? You're in the middle of a transition to air. you just lost a large amount of your army, and your opponent has a lot of lurkers, which you're not entirely ready for yet. The thing that you want to be doing right now is keeping your opponent back while you're throwing away cheap dispensable units. The Zealot. If you warp in 10 Zealots over here, your opponent will be forced to send a significant force back home in order to deal with that. Which means, in turn, that you're not going to get attacked. Or if you get attacked by a weak force. Like there's only 5 Hydras in here in general, and you still have 4 carriers. Never mind, you're completely safe. It's actually impossible for you to lose this game. There is 10 Hydras extra on the way, and they're going to have 3-2 upgrades, which is somewhat significant. But there's only 5 Hydras right now. You can just clear them with your carriers. And from that point on out, you just clear the lurkers after. Okay, this is an interesting start of the fight. You managed to lose 1 carrier against 5 Hydras. 4 Hydras. There was 1 in the back. There's every single disruptor that just went down. And then half of your, no, 2/3 of your carriers are attacking roaches over the Hydras in the back. This is a fantastic fight. This was wonderful. So, a thing I often say, a thing I often do is, when you're not sure about why you lost the fight, you can watch it back in slow motion and you can find your mistakes, because sometimes it's difficult to understand what you did wrong. For you, it's going to be the opposite here, Amorphism. It is very difficult for me to understand what you did correct. Mistakes are going to be plentiful, but my goal in rewatching this fight is not pointing out your mistakes. They're going to be obvious. We will just play it through. I might click at things and I might look funny into the camera when weird things happen. But I'm truly looking for things you did correct. Revelation. I like that you cast Revelation. Revelation provides vision of the lurkers, which means that right now at this moment, you know how many lurkers are in position and you can make the correct decisions based on that information you just gained. You didn't use super battery. Now, that sounds like criticism, but this pylon actually was very exposed. So using super battery on this battery could have potentially been energy wasting and cooldown wasting. So, although this is not necessarily a good move, we could consider it as perhaps in an alternate universe a good move. So that's 2 good moves already in this fight. You damaged your opponent's army evenly, so that if you get splash damage on it later on, they'll all die at the same time, which gives a very satisfying sound. 3 things you've done correct. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying my best here, but it's not easy. Yeah. I just feel like there was no micro at all here. Like, at the end especially. Now we're getting some zealots. This is gonna be a good disruptor shot. Get some units, that's good. That's all you really need, is 1 disruptor shot on Hydras during the entire fight. Or just all carriers attacking the same group of Hydras. That also would have been good enough, I think. You can go back to regular speed. Even at this point, despite all your shortcomings, I think you're still in a playable, if not winning position. Let's think about it here for a second. So what do you have? You have a lot of gateways, superior income. You have carriers out with 2 more on the way. Zealot run-bys are available. And Zerk is still only on, what is it? 7 gas right now. Trying to take 10 or trying to take 9, but you have plenty of bases and superior income. All you need to do is keep your opponent back, get disruptors, carriers, and Templar out. That's it. Zealots for the run-bys to keep your opponent back, and then the rest of your units. Like, look at this. This base completely empty right now. This base completely empty. 5 zealots would either force this army back, or would clear an entire base. And trading a base for a base at this point is probably pretty good, because you have more bases than your opponent. You have 6, your opponent has 5. On top of that, you're trying to rebuild, so anything that wastes time is also good. This is honestly... It looked like the start of perhaps a good fight. It could have been a good fight. Oh, maybe a... Yes! A feedback. We hit a feedback. That was very nice. So one Viper doesn't get to use all its energy. I guess, as a Zerg player, if you're playing against someone that consistently throws Archons for free in your army, perhaps abducting units isn't even the most important thing in the world anymore. This, despite those mistakes out of the toss, I still think this is a doable fight. Oh, the DTs. Actually a good call. I like that call of the DTs. I want to split. Yes, there we go. Beautiful. Still have some observers as well. Can clear every single lurker. Actually a hat. Actually a hat. Don't forget to pick up your free 3 lurkers over here, my friend. Hello. 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 3 lurkers. Hey. We have observers ready and everything. We were seeing it. Warping in a DT and a zealot. That's not gonna do it because 1 lurker is out of vision. Every single probe is dying. Going from an eco advantage here into an eco disadvantage. Still ahead. Still winning. Focusing down that extractor real good while lurker was killing your Archon. Cool move. Yeah, keep right clicking that hatchery with the Colossus. These two stay alive. Ling run by to the left. Very nice. Very nice. People often ask me, Kevin, what do you think is impossible? And I say, nothing is impossible. But I thought that I finally had a game where I could say, I thought it was impossible to lose this one. But even that is not the case anymore. Amorphism proved me wrong. And everything from start to finish. Once the fighting started, it just ended. The moment the fighting started, in which it was important that you didn't just A move or move command in, or it wasn't good enough anymore that right-click in an extractor, you know? I just feel like everything went wrong. The fight over here, I've never seen something like this in my life. Legitimately never. Just move commanded, 7-8 disruptors in. Lost a carrier against like 4 Hydras before the fight even started. Then attacked roaches with carriers. Stormed their own interceptors. After the roach over here had practically died. Like, there were so many things that went wrong. The entire fight was complete chaos. You can have material advantages all you want, but if this is how you control it, it doesn't really matter. You literally lost everything into a way inferior army that was in a good position. That's the only thing that the Zerg did that was scary this game, is move into a good position with 16 lurkers and 5-6 Hydras with like 10 Hydras as reinforcements. But that was it. After that, there was not going to be anything. You could have given up this base. You could have counterattacked. You could have just used your carriers to clean up the Hydras initially and use your disruptors from a distance. There were so many things you could have done, but instead you move commanded your entire ground army into the lurkers without dealing any damage whatsoever. I think 2 disruptors might have even hit absolutely nothing, and another disruptor hit 2 lurkers that weren't damaged yet. I honestly think the rest of the game wasn't even that bad. I think your transitions were somewhat timely. Yes, I didn't like the Colossi here in the late game. Yes, I think your Templar were a little bit late in the fight, but it was good enough for your level, definitely. It's just the one fight completely destroyed you. I don't think that had much to do with the lurkers either. Like, the lurker is one of the only units there that probably could have won, but you already had the counter in the carrier. So this, I feel like something that would help you more rather than a lurker nerf is just maybe adding a second control group or adding a control group altogether, because it feels like you're just F2ing at this point. This really had nothing whatsoever to do with the lurker being imbalanced, and more so with you just move commanding in. And that, my dear friend, means that you suck. And that's going to be it. I'm sorry, but that's life. All right. That is also going to be it for me in today's episode of Is it IMBA or Do I Suck? Where sadly we had another sucker. I don't enjoy saying any of this, you know that, right, my friends? I really don't. I'd rather have things be in balance as well. It makes me feel good about myself as a Protoss player. You know, why do I lose all the time? Oh, I suck. No, it's because the lurker is in balance. I would have wanted it, but it wasn't meant to be. All right. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.